You're listening to the Served Digizine podcast, sponsored by AmTab. AmTab is your one-stop shop for all of your food court and cafe needs. To learn how you can transform your space, just visit amtab.com. On this episode, join us as we take a deeper dive into some of the content that was in our first issue, Adversity Brings Growth. First guest on the show is, you guys know, somebody very special and somebody very well known in the K-12 industry, Stefanie Dove, who just wrote an amazing article for Served Digizine on plant-based trends. Hey, Stefanie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We are great. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So, Steph, you were in the waiting room waiting on us because Amanda was late, like always, and I'm sure you heard all of our crazy conversations. We like to bicker.
Hey, but in her defense, a Yeti mic setup takes some skill. So it takes some time. So I got her. I've got her.
Amanda, say something because your voice sounds completely different.
So people who know us know that this is actually one of my best friends, IRL, Stefanie Dove. We were actually talking today, and we figured out that both Stephanies that were featured in the Digizine and are going to be on the call today both have Stefanie with an F. How crazy is that?
I know. I get so excited when I see people with my name spelled like I do. It's like that instant connection because I'm like, girl, did you ever look at the gas station and they're like, oh, for the license plates with your name spelled right? Yes. So we got it.
So Stefanie, so first of all, your article got a ton of traction. People were asking for recipes and wanting to learn more. What can we dive into on this podcast that people may have not been able to gain or wouldn't know from just reading the article?
I think the one thing, especially if they're trying to figure out really how to tell that story. So Bree, you and I know we both love storytelling. And the one thing that I am so excited about with Kellogg's is as a company, we prioritize storytelling, whether it's telling the story of our ingredients, our products, or even the stories of our farmers and where things come from. And one tool that our team developed this past year, I keep saying this year, like it's still 2020, but this is sustainability plant-powered calculator. And what operators and even students can do is go to our Kellogg's Away From Home site, plug in their meals that they want to swap out from a traditional meat-based meal to a plant-based meal, whether it's breakfast or lunch, even a supper program. And we have worked with data on the back end to generate sustainability storytelling outputs, such as by just swapping out one breakfast each week for the entire school year, this is how many gallons of water you could save in your program. And then we take those numbers and break it down to, that comes out to be 1,200 loads of laundry, something that students would recognize. And operators can actually download the PDF to turn into social media blasts, even posters in their cafeterias, newsletters. And so that's one tool that we didn't really talk about in the article, but it's such a great way to tell that story of the impact that swapping to a plant-based meal can have.
That's so genius.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marlon. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's genius. And that sounds like a whole nother story that you could write about one day.
Yeah, I try to be on the podcast.
Yeah, and actually, so one of our sales account executives, Amanda Bott, who you guys know well, she actually filmed a tutorial for the sustainability calculator for operators. So that way it's easy to use, watch the tutorial, then go in and play with your numbers and see what you can do. And she gives operators examples of different scenarios they could use to really benefit from that calculator. So no, I love it. I'm so excited about it. I plug it in everything I do because I just think it's a great way to tell that story.
And is Amanda's video that you could find on the brand new Kellogg's website that you guys just put together?
It is. So it is under. So if you go to our Kellogg's Away from Home site and you scroll down, you will see under our plant-powered pillar, you will see the tutorial video and also the sustainability calculator with the actual tool that you can use.
That is so cool.
That is cool.
Steph, on my feed came up one of the incredible photos. One of the first days that you were actually in Kellogg's. I think it was just a year ago, girl. Right, a year and a couple days or something. You started with Kellogg's. I remember you interviewing. I remember waiting for you to fly out there and just to see your passion for school food. And I'm not going to cry, but for life and everything channeled into such an incredible company. And it's so beautiful to me, and you're so amazing. And so tell everyone what your official title is now on your anniversary with Kellogg and what you're actually responsible for doing. Because people still ask me, like, I know she's with Kellogg's, like, what is she doing? And I was like, all the things.
So my official title with Kellogg's is the K-12 Wellbeing and Regulatory Business Partner. So takes up a lot of lines on a business card, but I'm excited because one thing that the K-12 team is dedicated to is bringing forward culinary education, nutrition education, and more of these storytelling opportunities. And my role is to really take our stories as a company and put them into tools and resources that our customers can use. And we also have some exciting things in the works for students coming down the road. So I'm just going to give that little teaser on that, but I'm not going to say any more because we have a lot coming out, but it's going to be really exciting. And fun fact about Kellogg's for all of my fellow dietitians, Kellogg's was the first food company in the U.S. to hire a dietitian almost 100 years ago, 1923. So as a dietitian, I'm also like, this is a full circle thing. Like, they really have always prioritized nutritious foods and really prioritizing nutrition. So that makes me really excited.
That's awesome. We're so glad you are doing an amazing job over there. And thank you for your awesome contribution to Served, our inaugural edition. So it was so important to us to have you be a part of that. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Where can viewers and listeners learn more?
You can go to our Kellogg's Away from Home site, and with Chef Matt, who was also, his video was featured in the article. I've been working closely with him to develop even more recipes that feature our plant-based protein options. So check out the website. We'll have more to come, and we're just going to be moving and shaking in 2021. So there's a lot to come from Kellogg.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing what you do.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Stefanie.
Bye.
You guys, she's like the real deal. Like,
She
as
is.
wonderful as she seems, that is her through and through. And she loves school nutrition. She like truly just believes everything that the company is doing. And it's so incredible to see a company even invest in, that sort of a title that's directed just to K-12. It's talking about wellness. It really shows their commitment to working with us and near us, and together we're feeding the next generation of kids. So it's really, really cool.
I did forget to ask her one question. I want to play basketball with Tony the Tiger. Can she make that happen?
I'm sure she can make that happen. Stefanie is amazing. While we're waiting for our next guest, let's turn to adversity and growth. That was the theme for this first issue. We all faced adversity last year. And we had the amazing Irv Watson write an article, which is performing outstanding. Let's talk about that a little bit. Marlon and Amanda, what were some of the challenges that you faced in 2020? Just to name a few.
Personally or as a business?
Both.
I think the biggest challenge for me was, oh my gosh, how am I going to feed my family because of COVID? Whenever I first got started, I was strictly in the business of serving school districts. And when COVID happened, I was like, I don't need to be, charging for my services. I need to be giving services away to support as much as I can. And that's what I did. And luckily, Amanda saved the day with this great idea called First Taste TV. And that was a challenge all on its own, but we learned a lot. And I would say we grew. And hopefully, I think the industry grew just a little bit too with that latest innovation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we grew so much that look where it got us right now to this podcast. I mean, we went from idea to season 1 to Digizine to podcast. So,
and now I'm a CEO now, but a chief energy officer. Chief energy officer at Next Gen Network. And Amanda, what's your title?
That's a little bit better than my title at Next Gen Network, which is just your wrangler.
Marlon's wrangler.
Which is an important job.
You know what?
What are you trying to say?
Constantly. I think adversity and the growth, we just look at school meals. I mean, school meals have grown and changed in ways we never could have imagined. I was speaking with one director and she said, if you had told me what I was going to have to do this year at the beginning of the year, I would have thrown my hands up and thrown in the towel right away. But when push comes to shove, I was at work on March 16th, and I know that people across the country were. We proved that we are essential workers. Mm-hmm. Dallas ISD was on the cover of Time magazine, crying out loud. Talk about growth.
Yeah.
Talk about growing into the national spotlight. But now it's important that we stay there and that we continue to advocate for school meals. We have right now kind of universal school meals, or perhaps is the gateway towards universal school meals being, a thing in this country. I know I'm serving all my meals for free to my kids. And I'll tell you what, it has taken the time that we spend on cash collecting and point of sale ringing, and we're funneling that back into our kids into creating great school meals. And I know that's happening across the country with menus that we've been seeing, innovations that happened, and vendors coming out of the work to support all of the efforts that are being done by the essential people who are on the front lines feeding kids. This has been an exponential year of growth, and it could not have happened without the adversity that was posed.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things I noticed too is the confidence now that a child nutrition has. I mean, you guys have gone through one of the toughest years ever, and you survived, and a lot of you thrived. And after going through a year like that, I mean, there's a lot that we can all take into 2021 because of it to make it stronger.
Yeah. Did either of you face a challenge? I know some days with so much change and so much going on, it was really hard to kind of just stay on a routine, which that means my health and wellness routine went down the drain. Like it was non-existent. And I'm hoping that in 2021, I can get back on track. But nutrition and fitness is one thing that makes me feel like I'm performing up here. And through 2020, I felt like I was performing down here. Do you guys have a health and fitness routine at all?
Amanda, what's your routine?
I'm currently taking a racquetball. I told my husband we need to do more productive things together. So that is how we're going to spend some time together and actually work on our physical fitness, because we don't gym the same way. And let's be real, folks. I had to sign up my kids for summer camp. Yes, in January. So my children will be enjoying the YMCA summer camp all summer long. They will be going to camp and outside and with kids and just having fun, because you know what? My health and wellness is one thing, but the health and wellness of my kids is another. And I'm not willing to compromise on that for sure. I wish I had the same dedication and the same sense of wellness that I have for my kids as I have for myself. But I'm really excited to start my racquetball career. I'm told I'm not demographic to be playing racquetball, but it's going to be competitive, and my husband and I are uber competitive. So I'm hoping that I will be wiping the floor with them. Marlon, Bree said, I saw your post about racquetball. You were serious about that? Let's go racket. Ready to go. So you can follow more about my racquetball experience on Facebook and Twitter.
We should have at our quarterly meeting like a racquetball tournament.
Yeah.
We should do.
No, you'll cheat. I don't trust you.
Please, I don't have to cheat. Easy money.
She'll definitely win.
Well, Marlon is really great. He is one of those people that will wake up early. He will wake up early and send you super annoying I'm on the gym when you're just rolling out of bed. So I've been really impressed and motivated and inspired by his sense of health and wellness. So Marlon, tell the nice people what you do every day.
Yeah, so it's my goal to wake up every morning at least 5 a.m., work out for an hour, answer all the emails before I actually get to work. I'm already working, so answering emails and then get to the office by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. But honestly, like it's gotten to the point now to where training in the morning has just been part of my life. It's just something that I do. It's part of the routine. It's like built into me now. And if I don't do it, I'm dragging by like 1 o'clock. Even yesterday, Amanda, like we were talking and you were like, you haven't worked out yet. What's wrong with you? Like you sound down. I was like, no, it's because I didn't
work out or he's hungry. He says, why do you know I'm hungry? Because you've been on the phone with me for 2 hours. It's now 1:30 and you need protein. Go get your protein. Go take a walk, come back. No,
it's
you're
funny
right. It affects you so easily.
Yeah, and it's not just physical, it's mental. Like I just feel cloudier, slower. I can't remember things. So working out's really important for me. I know everybody's body is different, but for me, like I need to train in the morning, get it out of the way. I need to eat healthy. And I also need to try and do it on my own time. I may have had a slight problem in the past where I would CrossFit for like 2.5 hours a day. Ashley can tell you all about it. And it wasn't a good time in my life. I mean, I looked great. I was tip-top shape, but it wasn't good personally. So I finally realized that. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to dedicate all this time to the gym, I need to do it on my time. So I try and work out when the kids are sleeping, when Ashley's sleeping. So whenever they're up, I'm all theirs. That's what I do. Yeah.
She is a saint.
She is a saint.
Shout out to Ashley Gordon.
Yeah.
You are my hero.
So we talked a little bit about health and fitness, and we're going to dive into that more later. But next, let's talk about holding ourselves accountable and starting our leadership journey with Stefanie Giannini. Hey, Stefanie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited.
Thanks for
being here. Steph, I've been looking forward to this for a very long time.
So have I. I'm very, very excited.
So tell us about your article and your video.
Wow. So I am on a mission, I guess, to make everyone realize that they are leaders. There's a lot of discussion that goes on that who is a leader, who's meant to be a leader, and everyone is a leader. Is everyone a great leader? I would say no, but not something. It is something we can improve on. We are all leaders, and I think we have this old school mentality that a leader is the boss, the head of a company, the head of a nation, a community. It's this big fancy word that we all don't get to be, but and because of that mentality that we have, we end up leading people in such poor ways because we don't realize the influence we have on people. Leading is essentially just influencing people. And whether we do that in a positive way, negative way, that just depends. But if we don't think that we are leaders to begin with, then we don't even know what we're influencing, how we're influencing. So I'm trying to change that mindset. And that's through people building their leader identity, which is essentially understanding that you are a leader. And I think I've gotten a lot of great feedback from the article and from the video of it resonating with people and realizing, oh, wait, I am a leader, because I think building that confidence is really key as well. I think when people think that they're not a leader, they don't have the qualities, they don't have the skills, that they're not confident in their decision making. They're not confident in how they can impact people. And so that's kind of my mission, to help everyone realize that we are leaders. And I'm a big believer that personal development, leadership development very much intersect. As you work on yourself as an individual, it would only impact how you influence people in a positive way.
Yeah, so I was talking to Bree and Amanda before you hopped on here, and I was telling them how I may or may not have gotten a sneak peek at your video.
He does. He gets the behind the scenes.
You can never wait.
But it was so cool because for me personally, like I've never really thought of myself as a leader. But after watching your video, I was like, maybe I really am a leader. Like, to me, it was always like an idea, like I should be or I could be, but I never really thought I was. And your video really resonated with me. And even after having our conversation, after I told you how I felt about it, it was like, all right, I'll be a leader now. I'm a leader. You win.
Yes, I'm giving everyone the permission and the okay to go ahead and be the leader and know that they're a leader, because I think people are afraid not afraid, but like you said, I could be, and I potentially could be maybe in these certain situations, but no one wants to. It's not that they're not, maybe not that they're not confident enough or ashamed to be, but because it's this fancy word, people just don't want to even label themselves as one, because it's almost, they feel like they have to fit this certain mold. Otherwise they can't label themselves that. So I'm giving everyone the permission. Yes, you are a leader in very, very different ways. People lead in very different ways as well.
Yeah, I think another thing for me too is I was almost afraid to acknowledge the fact that I was a leader. Like, I just wouldn't admit it to myself. And then I had to take a step back and look at like where I am now and like where I came from and like all the people that I help and that I serve with and I guess lead. I was like, all right, maybe I really am a leader. What do you think, Amanda? Am I a leader? Bree? Yeah.
Yeah. In theory. I mean,
in theory.
I bet you are. Stefanie, you are a leader, and you specifically are the leader of IVATI. Which is we had a very long discussion about how to pronounce IVATI. And I did a good job, right?
You did a great job. And actually, when it's so funny how it came about, IVATI, because I think it's pretty catchy now, but it wasn't something I didn't set out to. Originally, I was just going to be Stefanie Giannini, like StefanieGiannini.com. Stefanie, that was my brand. But after building and working on the 5 actions of IVATI, when I put them together in the order that they're supposed to go, I was like, I wonder if we can say this a certain way. And then it's actually funny because me and Marlon, I'm no joke, maybe 24 hours just going, like saying to ourselves, IVATI, IVATI. Like, we were just thinking of different ways it could be pronounced. And so it's funny because now it's just kind of stuck, but it was something that I didn't set out to be that way, but you did say it perfectly. And even if people don't say perfectly, that's okay. But yeah, it is funny how it just came about that way, because that was never in the original vision of everything, but I'm glad how it came out.
So tell everybody what IVATI stands for.
So IVATI stands for the 5 actions of IVATI. And these are words that I essentially just wrote down, and thanks, I keep bringing it back to Marlon, but honestly, he's the one who told me to, when I thought about what I wanted my business to be, talk about what I thought it would stand for and what I really wanted my mission to be. So I had a long list of different words, and it ranged from purpose to determination, all different words and different variations of each other. And I landed on the first I, which is intentionality, and then it goes vulnerability, authenticity, tenacity, and integrity. So I chose those words, and I didn't know it was going to be 5 words. It really didn't have a format. It was originally, I was thinking maybe more of like a triangle or all different things. So I have a little sketchbook that I was writing these words down, and that I feel like encompasses everything that as far as leadership development and personal development should be. You should do everything with intention. You're going to have to be vulnerable, which is probably the hardest part for people, especially myself. You need to be authentic. Authentic is key. And authenticity doesn't mean that it doesn't always mean that we're at our best self. Sometimes we need to reel in the authenticity and, lean into different behaviors, but being authentic is key. And then the tenacity piece, determination, drive, we hear those a lot. I feel as though tenacity just stands out. And to me, that's that drive to always be better and to always strive for more, and to always, when you have setbacks and obstacles, we're going to keep going. And then the integrity piece, I feel, just brings it full circle in our development. We always have to stick to our integrity, and especially as leaders, stick to our integrity. So those 5 actions.
I love it. I love it.
And I love your headband. Can we talk about that? It has nothing to do with Served Digizine, but it is ravishing. I've been rewatching Gossip Girl, and I think I am going to be rocking headbands all summer.
You know what? I stand by this because I don't know how to do my hair. I straighten it and that's about it. So headbands really make me feel like I did something. So they're a good just touch on.
Mm-hmm. Our guest from before, Stefanie Dove, she has headband, like a headband collection. Like she had to make something or purchase something to like hold all her headbands. I'll send you a photo of it. Very
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I've gotten very into them lately. This one's from J. Crew. If anyone needs some recommendations, Marlon.
Hashtag J. Crew. Free. Get them to sponsor this podcast.
Absolutely. Stefanie, last year we know was challenging, and this year people, we have a new outlook. It's a fresh start, and a lot of people may be wanting to channel their inner leader or develop their leadership identity. Do you have any tips for somebody who maybe doesn't see themselves as a leader right now, but may want to become one?
So I always start at the bare minimum. I think how we talk to ourselves is very important. And I think people don't realize how powerful our thoughts are and our words are to how we view ourselves. So I think always to the bare minimum, we need to change how we talk to ourselves. I know I struggle with this a lot, especially before I found myself in a management role in school nutrition. People are very shocked to find I was very shy and introverted as a child. And so I always said I didn't like team sports, not because I don't like people. I love people, but I don't like team effort sometimes. I'm kind of more to myself, the lone wolf. And so I was like, I wouldn't be a good leader because I'm not somebody who wants to always take charge or make decisions. And so I think it's having to really deconstruct those ideas we have about what being a leader is, and then how we talk to ourselves about that. So those things that maybe we always looked down upon and said, that's why we're not a leader. We need to look at those qualities and say, how could that be used as a leader? So a big example I always use is that somebody who doesn't want to call the shots, somebody who doesn't want to make big decisions, if you are somebody who might actually be much better off as a really good listener, you're still leading people in that moment. You're leading people to come to you, to process their thoughts, their emotions, their ideas. And in those instances, you could say, okay, maybe I'm not as strong of a leader in this area where I'm telling people what to do and directing people, but I know I have this strength as a leader where if people need to come to me with more private information, confidential, or just they're not comfortable speaking to certain people, that's my strength as a leader. So I really think trying to deconstruct what the definition of a leader is, and then also looking at our qualities, our strengths and weaknesses, and trying to change how we talk about them and view them and how they can be used in leadership.
Yeah, I think.
I have a question, Stefanie.
Yes.
All right. So if I'm a leader, I am a leader.
Yes, you are.
So I'm a leader, and there are things that I'm good at, but I'm also very honest with myself about the things that I'm bad at. And the things I'm bad at, I don't want to do. Now, should I be focusing on bringing myself up in those categories, or should I lean more into my strengths and try to build those? What would be your best advice?
So that's actually a great question, because you will hear two sides of a coin. People will say you should constantly be working on your weaknesses. Then you'll have other people who say you shouldn't even worry about your weaknesses. So I try to find those people, right? I know. I try to definitely fall more in the middle, where I do think it is it is very important to work on your weaknesses so they're not such a hindrance to you. However, I don't think we should be striving for something that's never going to happen. So for example, for me, I am naturally disorganized and chaotic. And so I'm not going to try and be a type A person. I'm not going to try and be the most organized person. However, I might hire somebody who is ultra organized and who will help me be organized. And so I do think that we should work on our weaknesses so they don't hinder us as much, because you might not realize that if we're completely blind to our weaknesses, then it can seep into all different areas of our lives, and we can make other people's lives much harder because of it. So I do think it's good to be aware and try to be better at it, but then also lean on people who that is their strength. Your weakness is their strength. You should always be surrounding yourself with people who are better at areas that you're weak. And so with that, do work on weaknesses, but don't obsess over them and don't waste too much energy. But also you should definitely exploit your strengths. I would say if you have these strengths, you should be drilling them into the ground so they flourish beyond what is just comes natural to you.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned listening as a leader, and I feel like that's something that has helped me tremendously. And not just listening, but like really being able to accept advice from other people that have been doing this before me, people with more experience, or people that have the other blessings that I don't have. Because I'm sure the team can attest. There have been lots of things that I've wanted to do, post, say, share, and I reach out to my team, and I can be pretty stubborn, as everybody knows, but when the team that says Marlon Drangler, yes,
I love it. Love it.
But if the team gives me their advice and they're all feeling a certain way, like it's probably my best interest as a leader to listen to them and do what they say, because I should be listening to my team.
And you do
100.
Whatever issue or problem we have. And when I was watching your video, Stefanie, I heard you say, you know, somebody may be a leader, even if they're the person that you go to and people are comfortable sharing with you. And Marlon, everybody on the team will agree that he is that soft, gentle person that we all run to with every little problem, including, I forgot my password, please fix it.
Yes.
Or I walked into a barbell on a squat rack. Do I look okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so... Were you looking down?
I wasn't even squatting. I was.
Oh, no.
Yeah, in my basement, we have a gym set up, and I was looking for something, and I came up and I hit my face.
I am so sorry to hear that. You could always make up a really cool story, though.
And that's what I'm gonna do. For
No,
sure.
it's hashtag life at NextGen.
Life at NextGen.
Follow that hashtag.
Running into barbells.
And racquetball against Amanda.
Oh my goodness. It'll clear up.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, Stefanie, do you have anything else that you want to add? We're so glad you were able to hop on.
Thank you. No, all I can add is that this is anybody's leadership journey is their own. It's different for every single person, and what being a leader looks like looks so different for every single person. And I think that everyone just needs to have some grace with themselves and understand that leadership development, personal development, it can be great. It can be frustrating. It could be a lot of things, because essentially we're looking inward, and that can be a beautiful thing, but it can also be a tough thing as well, because I know for myself, and having to listen to when you're not great at things, having to listen, people tell you where you are struggling, where you are weak. And that can be very challenging. And I can see why people sometimes veer away from it, because it's easier to just be how we've always been and to what comes natural to us. So my advice to everyone is to just keep trucking along and always trying to be better, but have grace when you're not your best self, and understand there's no such thing as a perfect leader. And as long as we can look at mistakes as learning lessons, we're going to be a lot better in life. And to just enjoy the ride of any leadership development you do, any professional, personal development.
So Steph, where can people find you? Social media? Where are you speaking next? Do you have any keynotes, trainings, anything like that coming up? What's going on with you?
So you can find me on Instagram. I will admit, social media, I am working on my relationship with social media. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. YouTube's obviously where I'm putting the majority of my effort in my videos. Now, am I one of those people who vlogs every day? No. So more about maybe a video every other week, but that's where I put my heart and soul into content. As far as speaking, I'm hoping to, I am. I'm speaking at the Healthy Kids Summit for Boston. So that's exciting.
Amanda's now following Stefanie on IG.
Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Okay, so no, so Instagram, it's at it's IVATI, but there's a period in between each letter, so V. The other one was taken. There's like a real person with the last name IVATI, I think. So it's okay. It was fine.
I was already following. I just want to point that out.
Okay. Yes.
Hey,
and so,
but who was your first follower?
Marlon was my first follower.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Yes. Marlon was first a lot with IVATI. He's been there since the brainstorming and everything. So that's where you can find me most active. And I'm hoping to do some more speaking and training and such. And, I will say the pandemic has brought out a lot of creative ways. I mean, first off, here's an example. First Taste TV, a lot of served a lot of creative ways for people to get professional development and connect, even though we're not in the same room. So I think that's great because it's provided a lot of opportunities for people. So I'm hoping more opportunities. And you can find me on those socials.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for. What was that, Brie?
So I hope we see you next month.
I'm sure we will.
You will. Thank you, all of you. Hopefully can see you all soon.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Jinx. Why are you always thinking what I'm thinking and saying what I want to say?
Because I spend too much time with you.
I think you two were siblings in another lifetime.
You know what? We say that, and then I say I have a brother, and he's my brother.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, but
I don't have a sister.
Buy my brother a PlayStation for Christmas.
He was salty.
Oh yeah, Anthony saw that and was like, "What? You didn't get me one?" And I was like, "Sorry."
Hey, you have some big news to announce with you and Anthony, right?
Yes, we got engaged.
Let's see the rock. Come on, give it up. Woo!
Bling, bling.
Yeah, thank you. It's very exciting.
Now I texted Marlon and was like, Stefanie got engaged. And he had the audacity to then forward me text messages an hour ago.
No, that doesn't shock me at all.
Because she's my friend first.
You fight over friends, Stefanie. Yeah.
Just like siblings. She's my friend.
Yeah. It's pathetic, really.
And by the way, I'm stealing another one of your friends, Amanda. I've been talking to Erin all day today.
No.
She's mine.
Good luck.
All right. Well, anyway, Stefanie, thank you so much for being on with us. Your article was amazing.
Thank you.
I love spending time with you because the more and more time I spend with you, the more I feel confident in my ability to lead others. And I am more passionate and I want to lead others more. So thank you for your friendship and that lateral mentorship and everything you've been to me and to Next Gen for the past, 2 years? Because whenever I first got started, who did I go to? I went to you, I went to Marcus, and I went to Callie. You guys were that friend group that really helped launch me, so I appreciate that.
Well, no, and I'm
responsible for all of
it's Steph's fault.
Oh yeah, no, of course, I appreciate everyone at Next Gen. Marlon, I love our friendship, and you've helped me so much, and I love seeing what Next Gen's do. I mean, it never stops. I don't know how you all do. You sleep? I don't know, but anyways, so I'll let you guys get to your next guest if there is a next guest. But I hope you all have a great day.
All right, you too. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I love
She
her.
is amazing.
She is.
I mean, it's such a great concept, the whole IVATI. I love the word tenacity. It's you don't really think about being tenacious, but I think I'm gonna put that on my wall somewhere because I like that. That it's great.
Yeah.
It's not dry. It's not determinate. You're tenacious.
Yeah. I love it. I love that word.
I do too. I'm gonna watch that over and over again. Like I watched it a couple of times, but I really think that this year is going to be the year I develop my leadership skills. So yeah, Stefanie.
Yeah, and you can reach out to her anytime. She's happy to help in any way. She's super personable, and she's just a real person. Like she's real, and it's just nuts too because she's so young. Like I can't wait to see like how she turns out 10 years from now because if she has this much wisdom at this age and this much passion for leading and teaching others and pouring into others, like imagine where she's going to be years from now.
Yeah, it's so funny. I actually always wanted to meet Stefanie. I'm like a Stefanie fangirl because she used to pop up on all of the school nutrition pages and just come up in my feed. And I didn't know her, and I didn't know that you were friendly with her. And it wasn't until when we were filming First Taste TV when I actually got to meet her in person. And she is a wonderful person. I want to spend more time with her, and there's a lot we can learn from her.
Yeah, she actually came down during the filming of First Taste, for those of you that don't know, and she was one of our, was it PAs? What do you call them? Yeah, production assistant for a day.
Yeah, where's her t-shirt? She got a t-shirt.
I think she did.
She needs
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember her in the t-shirt.
She asked for a fanny pack too. I'm supposed to send her a fanny pack. I need to.
You definitely do. She did say though, so she has an Instagram. She has a Facebook. Did she say?
Instagram and LinkedIn.
Instagram and LinkedIn.
And a website.
She's got a ton of content there. I mean, if you're looking for just something to put on in the background, or you're just ready to be inspired, like sometimes I throw YouTube on, like actually when I'm in the car and hook up that audio just to be inspired by things. And, definitely check out IVATI. I mean, Giannini's got it going on for sure. She really you're right, Marlon. She has this like wisdom about her. And so she get a master's in leadership? Didn't she just finish that, or?
I should know. She just finished her master's in something.
Yeah, leadership-esque, right? I know.
I really know.
I remember her telling me about it, but might have been drinking at the time. So I mean,
and she was definitely being modest too. I know she actually does have. She was either being modest or we interrupted her, but she does have some pretty big speaking engagements coming up that she's looking forward to in the next few months. One in well, I guess I probably shouldn't say, but she has two coming up that are big. I don't know if it's public yet.
We got to get the first taste out. I wonder what the topic are.
Probably leadership.
Before we so our next guest will be highlighting food nutrition and wellness, which I'm super excited about. But before we dive into that, I just want to talk a little bit about digital marketing. Did you guys see my article in Served?
Yes.
No.
I saw it, but I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, for one, you couldn't miss it. It was a bright orange page, and it was full of amazing content, or at least I think so.
Who was your graphic designer for that? I mean, that cover or that fold looked amazing.
Fire.
The mayor.
Melissa Mayer, shout out to you.
Yeah, she's our graphic designer here at Next Gen Network, and she is unbelievable. Every morning we wake up with presents from Melissa.
And that's why we call her the what, Amanda?
The graphic fairy.
The graphic fairy.
But digital marketing is something I'm obviously very passionate about. So that was a lot of fun to write and dive into. I think the article is actually called Diving into Digital Marketing for Your School Nutrition Program. And part one. And yes, part two, it will be released in February for the second part of Ignite Your Passion. So
Bree, tell me, where did you get your experience in marketing?
I'm so glad you asked. So I am a storyteller. I like to say that I am a journalist and a communications professional in a school nutrition world. Can I stop you for 1 second? I'm going to interrupt you. So when Bree says she's a journalist, like she was a legit journalist. Like Amanda and I were on camera pretending, but Bree actually did this for real for a TV channel, for a news station. Amanda knows the channel. Growing up in Massachusetts, I worked at the Channel 5 in Boston, which was so much fun, but that kicked off my career in journalism, film, storytelling. And then I dove into nonprofit marketing. I stayed there for a little bit, got some experience in community outreach and engaging my community. And then one day I was like, I'm moving from Massachusetts. It's too cold here. I'm going to go to Lee County, Florida and fill their first food and nutrition marketing role for the school district. I had no idea what I was getting into, but it was the best. I mean, to be out with a camera every single day, telling the story of the people who are feeding thousands of kids every day. I mean, these people, talk about passion. These people are passionate. They love what they do. They can't get enough. I was telling Winnie Chang yesterday or 2 days ago, I had one manager who would stay after school and teach kids how to cook at home because it was a lower income area. A lot of them, mom and dad would be working, weren't home for dinner. They were taking care of siblings. So teaching them how to cook easy, cheap meals, like they didn't have to do that. So to be able to document that was just like the best.
So you said you went around with a camera every day. Why did you choose a camera rather than just writing?
Oh, because everybody knows, like, nobody's reading anymore. I mean, we have some stuff to read in Served, but accompanied by video. So I always say, I mean, I had like a nice, like a Canon camera, but the best camera is the camera in your pocket. And the more you show, the more you engage. So, yep, I'm always show, don't.
That's great. And what was do you have like one moment that you cherish the most about your previous job at Lee County?
Yeah, don't even make me cry. Like and we can roll it in if we want. I would love to show you guys, but communicating with the community through video in the first week of COVID feeding with Lauren Kushwa, who is now at Greenville County Schools, Amy Carroll, Julie Kurtz, they're both still at Lee County, like putting together this crazy plan and then communicating it in a creative and interesting way and getting so much recognition and getting the word out to parents that way. It was the quickest. It was the most absorbed way. And it was an awesome marketing opportunity. Parents before that didn't know what we did. So that was an amazing way to show them that we go above and beyond, not just during COVID, but every single day.
Through adversity. You just said adversity made you guys stronger. Made you communicate better, right?
Stronger. Yep. So
to growth.
Yeah, to growth. And they're still doing very well. They went through some challenges this year as well. But they've grown they're still an amazing program, still feeding students and going above and beyond and doing what they do best. So shout out to Lee County. I miss you guys.
So if there were districts out there that wanted help utilizing social media and video and that sort of thing, would you be available to help them do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Let Next Gen Network tell your story. I want to tell your story. I like to say that I'm a journalist for school food service. Like that's me in a nutshell.
No, Bree, you and I actually did something really cool. And I think that was in the Digizine, right? Our Candle 101 class. I mean, we were watching people register for this webinar and I'd be like, hey, Bree, we have 100 people registered. We have 150 people. We have 250 people registered for this free class that we just said, hey, this is something people want to learn. I think, how it came about is I was at the gym on the rowing machine and announced the extension of the waiver for school meals.
Hey, I was there for that. On the phone with you.
You were. So I said, hold on a second. So I put down the rowing machine, grabbed my phone, pulled up my Canva app, put together a quick shout out, posted that on Twitter and Instagram. I didn't have my logo on my phone. So I said, hey, great opportunity. So I posted it in a couple of groups so they could share it as just like a generic template because it didn't say Londonderry Dining Services on it. And I kept seeing it on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So I said, no, I think this is really great because it's something on the go. You just pick a background, throw in some words and you post it up. And it shows that we can be timely even when we're on the go, even when you're at the gym. It took about 4 or 5 minutes, but it was really, really great. So huge shout out to you, Bree. I was pretty on the call. You did such a great job, but they can see that Served, correct?
They can see that in Served. Actually, they can see that in our first issue that went out, the winter version. That's in there, and we're going to be coming out with a second class. I don't want to say when just yet, but stay tuned. We're gonna
because we don't know.
We're going to announce it in our next issue, and we're going to give you an opportunity to rewatch the first one.
So check out serveddigizine.com, and you're going to click on archives. You can go back to that winter. But I think we have
we have our next here. So we're going to dive back into food and nutrition and wellness. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to get motivated.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, we have Kaylee joining us. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here, guys. You guys want to do some quick intros? Kaylee, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Well, my name's Kaylee. I am in the Tampa Bay area. I am a trainer with Camp Gladiator. It's an outdoor boot camp for adults of all fitness levels. And I'm just super excited to be here with you guys. This is my first podcast. So this is kind of new territory for me. So I'm really excited about it.
I'm going to make you suffer as much as you made us suffer during that workout.
I'm ready.
And Callie, what's up?
Hey
Callie Cow.
everyone, I'm Callie. I am a registered dietitian and work for Anoka Hennepin Schools in Minnesota. I am the assistant child nutrition director there, and I've been there since March. So kind of right when COVID began is when I started. It's been great. I love working in school nutrition, but also having my dietitian background, I'm also very passionate about nutrition, especially with fitness. So I'm super excited to be here and to talk more about how food can fuel your workouts.
And I just have to say real quick, like we mentioned earlier, that every morning I wake up and I work out, right? Well, every morning my Apple Watch goes off because Callie always finished her workout like an hour before I started, and she's an hour behind me or an hour ahead of me. It drives me crazy.
It's a habit. It's a habit. You just gotta set that alarm every day, and you just do it. It's a habit.
Yeah, you do it every morning, sometimes 2 or 3 times.
Sometimes it depends.
Yeah. So. Actually, I'm stealing the show from Bree. Bree, this is all you. You can ask the question. I'm going to shut up now.
Hey, Callie, you mentioned proper nutrition for exercise, and the day that we did Kaylee's workout, you may not know it from what you saw in Served, but we skipped lunch that day. So I think that Marlon and I don't know about Amanda, but Marlon and I skipped lunch that day, and we probably could have performed a little bit better if we had like a salad or something. But what are some snacks or ways of eating that would fuel a workout or like give you energy throughout the day instead of snacking on things that make you tired?
Sure. Great question. Yeah. So definitely fueling your body properly will help with workouts. I mean, you think about people that run a marathon, the night before they're always carbo loading with a bunch of carbohydrates, so that's to help them perform. So same goes with workouts, an hour to 4 hours before your workout, depending on, everyone's going to be different. The best thing is to do a little trial and error. Maybe, a couple hours before workout, have a snack with a combination of both carbohydrates and protein. Carbohydrates are the fuel. That's what gives you the energy. And then protein also helps with muscle building and things like that. So having a combination of both of those. So whether that be trail mix with some dried fruit or Greek yogurt and some berries, peanut butter toast, banana with peanut butter, something like that. Just a snack, 1 to 4 hours before a workout. That'll really help. You'll actually see a huge difference, I think, in performance. You might not see it the day of, but if you keep fueling properly those workouts, you'll just tell it. You'll have more energy. You'll be able to sustain longer. You'll be able to do, those extra 5 push-ups that you weren't able to do the first time around. So, or
that Amanda can never do.
You're gonna do them, Amanda. We're gonna get you push-ups. Woo!
So Kaylee, what's a good amount of time for people to work out? Like, let's say you've never worked out, you haven't worked out in months or years, whatever, just getting into it. Like, what should your intensity level be? How long do you need to work out? Like, should you really push it? Should you take it easy? What do you think?
So it depends on the individual, honestly. If you really haven't worked out in years, months, it's about whatever the case may be, as long as you're listening to your body, then you can kind of push as hard as you want. But it also depends on what you want to get out of the workout. Like if you just want to focus on strength building, like if you just want to go into the gym one day and just lift, work on legs, like whatever, it's a little bit easier to listen to your body that way. But in like a setting like what Camp Gladiator does, we're all outdoor or virtual training. So really the only equipment that we have right now, especially with COVID and everything, is a set of dumbbells, a fitness mat, a little bit of space to run around. That's really all we have right now in order for us to be safe. So really the best thing to do is just, especially if you're in a group fitness class, the trainer usually will go over the goal of the workout, what you're supposed to get out of it. And then what I like to do is I tell people like certain intensity levels that they should be achieving depending on the type of workout that we're doing. So for example, the workout that I had, I got to do with you guys was an endurance-based workout. So A little bit of muscular endurance, a little bit of cardiovascular endurance, kind of keeping that heart rate around like 70-ish% of your max heart rate. So not too high, but still enough of a challenge, slow burn. So most
high. No, definitely too high. Yeah.
So you mentioned virtual. You guys do virtual workouts too. How does that work?
Yeah. So thanks to our old buddy COVID, our company had to switch from an all outdoor platform to a completely virtual platform in a matter of like 5 days when the whole nation shut down. So props to our CEOs for being able to switch everything over so quickly. But basically, the virtual workouts are set up through Zoom. So we have this awesome partnership with Zoom that we use. So basically, when people are signed up as a camper, they just go into their online account. They'll go to this little tab that says virtual training. They'll click on that, and they'll be able to see a whole list of all of the workouts that are going on like that day, the next day, pretty much for the whole week. And usually campers can go ahead, click check in about 10 to 15 minutes before the start of the workout. And then they can go ahead, click that join button, and then it'll pull up that big meeting room with the trainer set up right there. I don't have my setup right now because I took it down. I like to live in my living room. I don't have a garage yet, but I'm getting there. But yeah, so we lead workouts just like what we're doing right here, where I can see the participants, they can see me. I lead them through a fun workout, still give them that encouragement, virtual high fives, like all of that. So it's a really cool experience.
That sounds really exciting. And Callie, weren't we talking yesterday about potentially doing a virtual workout? How cool would that be if we could do one inside of Served?
I think that would be amazing. It would be so great. I would definitely participate in it.
Yeah, and so we could do this from all over the country together.
As the one who was doing the virtual workout, I was actually very glad that you couldn't see me. It was
here cheating, doing no reps. I found the videos, Amanda.
I know. Listen, everyone who sees the video, I am like whispering to the director of operations, like, I send you your paycheck. It was tough. Well, I would like to say I also couldn't see exactly what's going on, so I'd have to like watch Bree for a couple reps just to see what she was doing. But that was hard, and you worked out well when you get up the next day, and you're like, oh, there's a muscle there because it hurts. I mean, those places that you kind of forget about. But I thought it was very good. I am definitely open to doing some more. I'm going to be racquetballing. It's my new sport. Are you impressed?
That's awesome.
Everyone's like, yeah. So Callie, you're an ex-collegiate athlete. What did you play? And talk to us about your typical workout routine right now.
Oof. So I played volleyball. I played all through high school, and then went to a D3 college and played. Loved the sport. I'm so glad I played. It was great. I still love it. I coach now. But yeah, so after playing college volleyball, I realized, or during too, just hey, like I need to properly make sure things are working well for everybody, or just for my body, feeling my body correctly. And so after I graduated, I now go to Orange Theory. Do that quite often. I love it. I love the group fitness aspect. It makes me kind of feel like I'm a part of a team again. And I also just love like showing up. That's the hardest part, is showing up. And then the workout just starts. The coach is there to support you. And I love it. It's a habit. It's something that I do every morning. Alarm goes off at 4:30. I'm there at 5. And it's a great start to my day. I feel like I'm super energized to get to the office and get my work day started afterwards.
So can I ask you a question, Callie?
Sure.
Do you play basketball?
I do, and if I remember correctly, I pretty sure I beat you in pig, but we can talk about that later, Marlon.
I don't even know why I brought that up, because I don't want to talk about it at all, but it was funny. She actually, I thought I had her like locked in, done. And I made like, it was actually Around the World we played, wasn't it? Not Pig.
You're right.
No. Or was it?
I think it was Pig first, and I beat you, but then you beat me in Around the World.
Yeah, and she was afraid to play me in a game of one-on-one.
Well,
And that could have been the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Because I'm taller than you, right?
No, you're so not taller than me. You can
He's
dream
trying to make a date with Tony the Tiger, so me and him in Chicago.
I definitely did. So, Kaylee, how can people find you? Like, if they're interested in Camp Gladiator, how can they sign up?
Well, they can always follow me on Instagram or friend me on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. Just, type in Kaylee Meyers. I almost always pop up very first option. So you can always contact me that way. Or you can do something as simple as follow Camp Gladiator on any of our social platforms. Or just visit the website, just campgladiator.com, and try us out.
Awesome. And
Kaylee,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was going to ask if either of you have advice. Like this time of year, you hear people say like, oh, my goal is to lose weight or get in shape or go to the gym every day. And then by like mid-January, early February, people start to fall off and not follow through with their goals. What advice do you have for those people who may be feeling that way right now?
I mean, should I put down my strawberry milkshake? It's not my fault that the ice cream shop is right next to the Planet Fitness. Not my fault.
Well, I think just, to start, sometimes people might kind of reach a little bit heavy on their goals, thinking, hey, I'm, not having any sweets or any sugar or any processed foods or something like that. And that's a very tough goal to maintain. Also, it's just the biggest thing is just everything in moderation. Like, just be true to yourself. Does that mean, okay, if you're somebody that has a dessert every single night of the week, maybe you can say, okay, 3 nights a week I will have a dessert. Making small achievable goals is very important to maintaining for forever.
Yeah, I feel that. I need to cut down my desserts for sure.
I love how, like, whenever the group is talking about like fitness and working out and health, Amanda always seems to have like chocolate in her mouth or like something unhealthy she's eating all the time.
I will not disclose what is in my cup.
Kaylee, what about you? What about people who maybe, started off the year strong, working out every day, but maybe found that they didn't have the time to do it or just kind of gave up?
Yeah, so I'm actually experiencing almost the opposite right now, which is kind of weird. I think 2020 had a lot to do with it. I think people are still kind of holding on to that baggage of everything that did happen. And, it does stink. And, I just have a lot of people that have actually kind of not really tuned out, but they've just kind of lost all. And now it's really hard to get the motivation back in order to get back on and then start pushing. But, if somebody does come back and they're like, hey, I'm ready to shed, 10, 15 pounds, whatever. I'm getting married, this summer, like something like that, whatever it is, that's where it's really honestly important. If you set your mind to something and you are ready to take that next step, I think it's super, super important to ask for help and to hire someone like a trainer or a nutritionist or a dietitian or something that's going to help keep you accountable to help guide you towards those goals and keep you towards those goals in a positive way. And I think it really takes a special person to keep those people on board and keep them, pushing towards that direction. So being in constant communication with that person that's going to hold you accountable is definitely key. You can't ghost them. Like, once you hire somebody, it doesn't make sense to ghost them. You know what I mean? So yeah,
accountability is so important. I know, like, before you guys hopped on, you were talking about like my fitness routine a little bit, and Amanda made a comment saying I'm always sending these stupid videos like motivating the team. And like I do that partially to hold them accountable, but more so to hold myself accountable, because if I talk about working out and I'm sending them videos, I better be working out. And I want to also say too that like once you start your journey in fitness, right, there's definitely going to be days where you don't want to work out. Like there are days that I just wake up and I'm just not feeling it. Like it's the last thing I want to do. But those are the days that you really need to work out, because you stop once and you break that habit, then you got to start all over again. Because like you may skip that workout that one day, and then it turns into 2 days and then 3 days, and then you look back and it's been a month and you haven't really done anything. So I always tell people that even if you're working out for 15 minutes on that day that you don't want to work out, just get out there and do it and keep that habit alive so you don't lose momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, once that happens and you've developed that habit, or you do things that make you uncomfortable, the rest of your day is going to be so much easier. Like, that's why I always tell people, like, if you can work out first thing in the morning, 5 a.m., do it. Like, that is your time to focus on you. Nothing else is going to get in the way. As soon as you've done something that you don't really feel like doing, the rest of the day is a cakewalk. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of biased. I'm up early every single day. But it kickstarts everything. It gives you that boost of energy and just sets you up for success for the rest of the day.
So it's interesting. A keyword, you said uncomfortable, right? So my first thought was David Goggins, because I'm a huge David Goggins fan. He lives his life uncomfortable.
Yes.
Love that dude. He will get you fired up. I've been trying to get Amanda and Bree to check him out forever. Callie too. Been telling you about him for almost a year now. You still haven't listened to his podcast or read the book. But anyways, being uncomfortable is a lot like adversity. And adversity brings growth, just like the theme for this month's edition of Served. And when you're uncomfortable, when you're working out, it's uncomfortable, but you know what? It's going to make you grow physically and mentally.
Absolutely. If you haven't checked out that book yet, you need to. It is awesome. I got the audiobook and
I was going to say that.
It's fantastic. He's right. It'll fire you up.
Yeah.
On your recommendation, I think I will.
Really?
Thank you so much for the motivation. I'm gonna download it right now.
You should. I've only sent it to you like 4 times. Callie, anything to add to that?
Around kids, though.
Oh yeah, he likes the F-bomb a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary.
He keeps it real, and he had a real uncomfortable life, and it made him stronger.
Absolutely.
I did listen to the video you sent me the other day, just like the first 5 minutes on my run, but then I was like, I need to switch to music. So I will.
David Goggins doesn't listen to music whenever he runs. I'm just saying.
Sorry, I'm a crime junkie, and I was like, excuse me, there's a new episode of Crime Junkie out today. That's my podcast too.
That's funny.
Callie, Kaylee, thank you both so much for joining today. I'm really excited to have you both in Served. Our goal at Next Gen Network this year is to, spread the love and motivate everybody, and we're going to have our happiest, healthiest year yet. So, and everybody's going to be along for the ride with us.
So real quick, I know we got the contact info for Kaylee, but Callie, where can people find you? I can answer in Served, and what are you going to be doing moving forward in Served?
So I plan to do some broad topics almost, so it can kind of relate to as many people as possible. Just talking about, why you should have more protein. Here are some protein sources. Here's a few recipes. I think that'll reach a lot more people doing it that way. And then also hope to have some sort of Q&A available that people can ask any nutrition related questions, and I can answer them, in the next Digizine that comes out. So that's, right now, that's kind of where to reach me. I'm hoping to build my Instagram platform a little bit more. So that could be another way that you can reach me. But for right now, we'll keep it at Served.
And I'm trying to convince Callie to do some short little Instagram videos with me on different different products that are available to school districts and to athletes across the country. So we'll hopefully be doing some testing and talking about our journey trying these new products and doing some reviews and ratings and that sort of thing too.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. Well, Callie, Kaylee, thank you both so much for joining us today. Looking forward to the next workout, which I think is going to be a couple weeks from airing this. It's coming up. It's coming up.
Breanna hasn't recovered yet.
It took me like the rest of vacation to recover. Like I didn't know I had muscles up here. So thank you for that. And I really do. I look forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Hey guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you sign us up for another workout that I don't know about?
I told you we were going to do it whenever you came
Things
down.
like
to
calendar.
We're serious.
Yeah.
I just look at my calendar and it's something, and I just click on it. I went to a meeting this week, and I had to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I have no idea what meeting I'm in right now. And I didn't know it was with you people, so I'm completely unprepared. I felt so unprofessional. So wait, I'm going to need more information about the workout.
It's going to be uncomfortable. That's all you need to know. But you know what? You're going to grow.
Because we grow from uncomfortable things.
Yes.
Show up.
Yep.
Show up.
Just show up. That's all you have to do.
Our next guest is here. So let's welcome Joe Pettit, who just wrote, he actually did a video in Served. I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you did, on Word of the Year. And his Word of the Year, well.
Wait, let him say it.
I will let him get to that. But hey, Joe.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Cannot complain one bit about today. So I heard Marlon saved it, right? Don't let it out yet. What's the word of the year? So the word of the year for 2021 is generous. That's what I'm sticking behind all year long. That's going to be the mantra.
That's awesome. So Joe, can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your experience, what you're doing now, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So I currently serve in Charleston County School District as a supervisor here. I oversee about 16 schools, approximately about 80 to 100 team members we have. We're a district of about 50,000 students. So that's what I do during the day. And believe me, that is enough to do during the day. I've been doing it for 7 years, as I mentioned. And then on top of that, I've really been doing a good bit of leadership development, public speaking, and going out and speaking to different districts and associations across our beautiful nation as well.
Yeah, and can I say that the very first conversation I had with Joe, maybe like a year and a half ago, something like that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy's the real deal. He got me so amped up to just push and to be tenacious and to seek being a leader, and it's just been awesome. So it's been great having you as a friend and as a mentor. And your video was amazing. It
really was.
Well, thanks for that, Marlon. And when you start driving home, I have about a 30-minute commute. You start thinking about all these ideas, and for me, I'm like, hey, I'm calling somebody, and I'm going to call people that are one notch above. So that's why I start reaching out to Marlon. You mess up when you give me your number, you see. So if you're of a kindred spirit and you give me your number, you're in trouble, because I have 30 minutes both ways in the morning and the afternoon. So you hadn't got any early morning calls yet. Once I figure out, go ahead.
I was going to say, I love that. So the 30-minute drive. So I'm in a new office now, and I drive about 30 minutes. And I was talking to Amanda about it, and I was like, I don't know if I should do it because I was taking time out of my day. And she had a great idea. She was like, use it for growth and for development. Because one thing that I struggle with is listening and reading the podcast and really like forcing myself to grow. So I use that time like on the way to work. Like all I do is I listen to leadership podcasts. My pastor, shout out to Pastor PQ out there. He has a really good leadership podcast. And I just spend time growing on the way to work. So if you ever want to give me an early morning call, I'm up at like 7:00. Pick up the phone and give me a call. There is no better way to start your day than with a cup of Joe.
I
I'll get you to it.
That's too good. That's too good. That's just marketing, Brandon. Breanna, I also saw where you had a great post out today talking about personal brands, about how you care for people.
Yeah.
And I just believe that when you live that out personally, everywhere you go, everything you do, it should just exude the type of person, type of character that you really care about people. So I'm curious to hear from you all. Like, what have you thought about? Have you thought about a word of the year?
Yes.
I have my word of the year. What about you guys?
Oh, I think we all have the same word of the year. Should I say it? Or no, wait, you know what? No. Let's let Amanda pick the word of the year. Let's see if she's thinking what we're thinking.
So, Joe, our word of the year is service. And we are all about service in a multitude of different ways. And we are always talking about how we can serve our communities. Marlon and I have, we have some things that we do philanthropically that we sometimes talk about, sometimes don't. But we're always looking on what is the best way to serve this person. I found personally that the way, you ever heard like, do unto others as you would have done unto you. But guess what? That's not the way I can best service others, because I want to treat it in sometimes a different way than they want to be treated. So really thinking about how I can serve that person, that listening or leadership style, or that employee, or that company, or that school district, or just that person or friend or child. Like my 2 kids, I serve them in completely different ways. My son responds very well to negative reinforcement. My daughter will go cry in the corner for 30 minutes. So we have to really tailor the way that we serve each individual as an individual. So, that's the name of our Digizine, which is Served, which is clever because it's like served, like here you go, get it, like first tasty, served.
Yes.
But also, we are very service oriented, and I want to be a better server of knowledge, of care, of food, of everything that I have to give, and the energy that I want to put out into the world this year. And I'm really proud of the way that Served was served to people this year so far. So that's the word. That's it.
So Joe, can you talk about why you chose your word? Like, why did you choose to put together this particular video that you did? For those of you out there that didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, this is why you need to listen to it. Joe, let's do it.
Yeah. So generous is one of those items. So a lot of people talk about word of the year, and I told you, Marlon, on the side that I found out later doing some more research. Well, John Gordon, who's written a gazillion books, he wrote a book about word of the year. I have yet to read it, just complete transparency. But I understand the focus. They talk about 21 days creates a habit. Well, what if you focus on a specific word, like laser focus on one word for 365 days? Imagine what that'll be able to do to you. And I believe that one of the things that the day I die, and I don't mean to sound all morbid about that, but like when I'm done and finished, I want somebody to say, like, Joe is really a generous person. He gave up himself to other people. And I know that can kind of go along there's many synonyms to generous, but I'm a definition guy. And so when I look at the word generous, it says showing a readiness to give more of something as a money or time than is strictly necessary. So when I think about generous, it means the first part is you got to be ready, right? And I joke a little bit about it, but there's people that are standing on the corner sometimes, panhandling for money, panhandling for food. Used to it, I'm all about authenticity. Is I would just look at it and be like, that guy's about to go buy some drugs. He's about to go get some alcohol. Is he really home? Like, where's he about to go with this? But that's wrong. And I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. At least I hope I'm not, because I really need to go get some help if that's the case. But when I think about generous and I think about it, so now to be ready, I have cash on me, which I don't normally have. I have gift cards ready. So when I see them, I am ready to give more of something that is strictly necessary. And I believe the same is true with our time. It doesn't always have to be about money. I mean, if my daughter, she'll be 3 next month. I don't get many hours with her, waking hours with her. So I need to be generous with my time, undivided attention for when I see her. I need to be ready to give that to her. And the same is true with the people that I serve. I need to be ready to just give that to them. And the way that you're ready is if you are anticipating serving other people. And so that's where the word generous, and so for an entire year, no matter what hits, no matter pandemic, no matter what lottery that I win, which I'm not because I don't even buy a ticket, but that's not going to happen. No matter what happens, I want to be ready to be as generous as possible. So that's where the word came from.
So do you
I
have
will
any?
be generous when I win the lottery.
True that. True that.
So Joe, what tips do you have when it comes to being generous with time? Because time is something that it's not infinite. Like it runs out. We only have 24 hours per day. How do you like, is it all about like prioritizing your time? Like what is the best way to be generous with your time? How do you do that?
So I like practical application. I set a ton of reminders in my phone, because what'll happen is I'll get caught up in something. In the disc personality, I'm the I. I'm the person that's here, there. I like to speak. I like to talk. I like to, so I'll get caught up in a task. And so in order for me to really be generous with my time, sometimes that means just being present in the moment. So again, back to with my family, there's so many things that are pulling me this way and that way to come in and give them take away my attention. So the way that I do this, I set reminders from 5 to 7. We're not doing anything other than family time. That doesn't sound like a lot of time, but 2 hours fully locked in on your family is a lot of time, considering you can be home for 5 hours and not truly be present. So the other way that we're really generous with the time is making sure I keep a track, like how am I doing? And then I take a look at it over the week, not only with my family, but also if I have team members here in the school district that really need a little extra attention, or somebody needs a little extra love or support, and I'm going to make sure that I set reminders and set calendar, just block out that time so that I can make sure that I do it. Because if not, it won't get done.
So just like how I was intentional about giving you or exchanging numbers with you a while back, I was intentional about asking that question because that is something that I personally struggle with is time. And so my problem is I feel like I'm very generous, but I don't respect my time like I probably should. And sometimes it has adverse effects on my family because I want to be there for everyone all the time. And I want to be able to work because work provides for the family and I'm helping other people out and that sort of thing. But I'm not respecting my time like I should. Like I should be more generous with my family. And Amanda and Bree yell at me all the time for not being generous with my time with my family. But that's something that I personally struggle with. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to ask that question.
And I'm glad you did, because that's something I've been struggling with as well ever since, COVID and working from home. It can be difficult to turn that off, to turn off work time and turn on family time. So thank you for asking that. And thanks for, when we hear generous, I would never have thought like generous with time. I just think of, giving money, giving an extra hand, being kind. So.
Well, and I'll also say that I had this really deep convicting thought just back on that same thing, Marlon, talking about being generous, talking about priorities. It's not too far off subject, but today I put out a post that says, we say these are our priorities, whether it be faith, family, finances, fitness, but then I go back and look at the time that I spent on each one, and really my time will tell me where my priorities are. And
truth
it
time.
hit me.
Truth time. Come on,
Take it easy, Joe. Come on.
Hey, I'm trying to help somebody else out in my own struggles, okay? So with that being said, I said, oh, okay, so maybe that isn't my priority. And it can change from day to day, but I think if we're being really real and honest with ourselves, and we go back and take a look at it, being generous isn't always, like as you said, Marlon, it isn't always about giving it to somebody else. Maybe it's about being generous to ourselves, because some people always are pouring from their pitcher, so to speak. And then the next thing you know, they're empty. And so I think that generosity happens both ways.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Truth bomb just went off. You heard it here first. Served Digizine.
Joe, so I just got this. They're a phone, and it's by this company. I don't know if it's named by some fruit or something, and it has this app that I've never had before, and it tells you how much time you've spent on your phone in a day. And I said, "What? I mean, what a wake up call that was for me!" And then it breaks it down and tells you how terrible of a person you are based on where you've spent that time. And the amount of time I spend looking at the lives of others and putting out some social media. And, I spend the majority of my time on social media and playing a terrible RPG game because I'm a closet nerd that I will never admit to in real life. It's really depressing, really eye-opening. So you're telling me some harsh truths, and I'm a little, I'm uncomfortable, which Marlon would say is a good thing.
Because being uncomfortable and adversity leads to what?
Growth.
Leads to growth. It's funny that you mentioned the screen time app on your phone, because I actually in a couple of my trainings I've done in the past related to marketing, I would use that as a tool, because a lot of people don't really leverage social media the way they should. And I was like, everybody pull out your phone, right? Go to this app called Screen Time and tell me where you spend the majority of your time. And the majority of the time is spent on social media, on Facebook. So that's a great way to reach people within your school district and to really pour into others, which Joe does a really good job. So Joe, how do you leverage social media to pour into others?
I think it's all about just, again, being authentic and real, knowing that there's people out there, because, again, we don't have time for it today, but you have to understand the backstory of Joe to really understand why I do what I do. Some people think, oh, he's trying to share this to hit somebody else and trying to do these different types of things. So I just think it's important to give and serve and to be able to put back into everyone else. So with that being said, it's just one of those things where I try to make time for it. I don't have enough time for it. I need to do more of it more consistently. As I was listening to Josh Meadows, the 18-year-old social media star that he is, and I'm like, I don't have that much time. But I think with everything, it's being intentional about trying to serve other people. And really that just comes out of being authentic and real with me. Yeah,
amen to that. Who was that? You said Josh Meadows?
Yes.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look him up.
I'll send you a podcast since you're on podcast now. Way to go, Amanda.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Bree, what other questions do you have for Joe?
Well, I'm curious because I don't even think I know, Joe, your backstory. I'm curious to learn more, but were there any other runner-up words? I know you chose generous for 2021. Were there any other words that you were considering?
The only other thing was execution, because, again, understanding what my personality is, some tasks can be left undone. And execution was the only other piece, because ultimately you can write goals, you can do vision, you can have the coolest plans, coolest ideas, but if you don't act on it and execute. And so that's just another part of my focus, just kind of behind the scenes, is to make sure that I really complete everything.
Yeah. How did you stay on track in 2020? Like, that was, let's just say, the worst year ever, but you had goals and you followed through every month. Every month, I'm sure, brought a new challenge. And you stayed focused, goals. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So again, it's the purpose of where am I trying to go? So is everything, it kind of goes back to an archer, the one who shoots an arrow, right? I had to learn that term, but everything they do is pointing towards the target. Every single piece, their elbow, the shoulder, the knee, every single thing is pointing towards the target. So everything that I did in 2020, because I set the goal before COVID hit. And so I would never allow a pandemic. How contradictory would it be that an inspirational speaker gives up in the middle of a pandemic, right? Like that's not, like that shouldn't happen, right?
That's not good for business.
Yeah, that's not a good brand. Speaking of brands and business. So the key is that you wrote this back in November of 2019, Joe. No matter what, you're going to keep pressing, keep pushing through. And did some things change over time? Absolutely. Did we have to do the word pivot? Yes, we did. But the goals were already written, and they weren't written because they were going to be easy. They were written to accomplish. And because where I want to be in 5 years, there was like, I had to do it because I had more time to look at my family because they're at home. They are why I want to do, what I do. So, in 5 years, I have much bigger aspirations of what we currently are doing.
Yeah. I love something that you mentioned. Once again, going back to Pastor Q, the podcast, listen to in the morning, P with Q, everyone check it out, Spotify. What he mentioned is good leaders, they do what they say they're going to do. And that's what you did. Like you were, talking about something months ago, and just because times get tough, you can't stop doing it because you said you're going to do it. So you need to execute, you need to do what you say. And that's something I always see you doing.
Yeah, it's a strive. I won't say it's always easy or it's always done the way I thought it would be, but at the end of the day, I'm held responsible for my results. There's no excuses. I can't put it on anybody else but Joe at the end of the day.
That is right. Real talk.
Find Joe Pettit. You want to see his cup of Joe posts. They always put a smile on my face, Joe. I love it when I see him come up on my feed. So thanks so much for contributing to Served Digizine, and we hope to see more of you in the future.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
You will. I've seen his next video and it is fire.
Really? How come you won't
I'm impatient. I like to be first. So Joe, once again, where can people find you? Let's hear your social media handles, websites, all that stuff, email.
Yeah, so the best thing to do is to email me at joe@joepettitinspires.com. That's JoePettit, joepettitinspires.com. LinkedIn, Joe Pettit, Facebook, Joe Pettit or Joe Pettit Inspires. I'm more active on Facebook and LinkedIn than Instagram, but you can find me there, and Twitter at Joe Pettit Inspires as well.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Joe. Talk to you soon.
You.
Okay.
He is a class act.
Joe is a man.
Class act.
I love what he said about being generous with time. Like, so wake up call.
Yeah. Harsh truths, as I'm telling my daughter to shut the door and get out. Did you see that?
Well, maybe she came in the room because you should be more generous with your time than you are.
No, she's not interested in me being generous with her time. She's interested in me serving her, as in serving her dinner.
Well, I mean, served is the word of the year.
That's right. I will be of service to her shortly.
What is for dinner, actually? What are you cooking?
So actually, this is a fun game. So, like leftover night is like the worst night. Like, oh, that's the worst. So listen to this. I think I made this up. So I play restaurant. So they actually come in and they sit down and I put like dish towel over my hand and I pretend to be their waiter. And then I tell them what's on the menu tonight. And me telling them what's on the menu tonight is me taking out all the leftovers from the fridge. And then they get to pick, they get to make like a hodgepodge plate of like whatever they want. I'll have some of this and some of that. Oh, it'll be my pleasure to put that together for you.
That's awesome.
Is that cool? Yeah. I think I made that up. Bree, can you trademark that? Thanks so much.
Restaurant. We're all playing restaurant this weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're not playing restaurant more than one night whenever we're at our quarterly meeting coming up, because I'm expecting Amanda to cook every night like she did at the last quarterly meeting.
I love the one day I didn't make breakfast and you were like, are you getting up? And I was, what, you can't scramble your own eggs?
No. I mean, I can, but I don't want to because you're here.
Oh my gosh, you were so useless.
I mean, aren't you like a chef or something? You like to cook, so just cook.
I do. I love to cook. And I cooked. I served you in a lot of different ways. So, with I showed you how to cook lobster, how to crack a lobster, and how to open oysters, and
whoa.
And I introduced you to linguiça,
the
Portuguese sausage of deliciousness.
Who showed who how to shuck?
Let's review. You tried to shuck an oyster, had no clue what you were doing. Yes, maybe I stepped away and pulled up a YouTube video right quick. But who is doing all the shucking after that?
Okay, well, so you gave me the Goliath of all oysters. And by the way, Bree just pointed to me. Exactly. She pointed to me. You gave me the Goliath of all oysters that was unshuckable. It was unshuckable. And of course, you can have the smaller one. You just pop it right open.
Skills. That's all I can say. It was my Cape Cod blood coming through.
I won't be mad if we never have those again.
No, remember when Bree tried it? We have got to share that video. I have that video. That needs to go on social media. And you're shaking your head no, Bree, but I saw what you and Jen Smith are up to, talking about you have a whole gallery of photos for Jen to share and embarrass me. Yeah, you let one of those get out and watch what happens. Because I got some photos.
Video.
I got some photos too.
Well, we've stopped talking about Served Digizine a long time ago, folks. If you're still with us, thanks for listening and watching, and we're breaking these up into chapters, or I don't know, that's above my pay grade, right? Let's go on with that, Bree.
I don't know.
Bree doesn't know, so I'll tell everybody. So we're gonna do these Serve podcasts monthly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna break it up into chapters because we want to re-engage with people that have already read, watched, or listened to Served, and we also want to engage with new people. So this is our way to really talk about all the amazing things that are in Served. The only amazing things in Served are what others are doing throughout school districts, because Served is written for K-12 by K-12.
And you can contribute to Served anytime. We would love to take your submissions. If you go to serveddigizine.com, there is a spot where you can register to be a contributor, and you'll be a member from our team will reach out to you, because there is something that you can do to serve others. There is something you do better than anyone else, and we want to know what that is so we can highlight your skills and expertise and be the conduit by which we serve everyone.
Yep, it's all about inspiring, informing, and pushing innovation. And it's also about free stuff. We give away things. We've gamified Served. So we have in this first issue, we have what we call a Served coin, and we have it hidden on a certain page. So go ahead, find that coin, click on it, because Served is clickable. It'll take you to a form. You let us know where you found the coin, and you have a chance to win a Served swag bag.
Ooh, that one was handy.
I do. It's actually back here.
Wouldn't want to sport this.
First Taste TV fanny pack. And if a fanny pack isn't cool enough, we're putting some cool stuff in it for you.
So find that Served coin and click on that. We are so happy that you listened, watched, and engaged with us. Thank you for being a part of First Taste TV and our brand new Served Digizine.